How's it on?
Yep.
Oh, it's on. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talks with Jody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Hit that notification bell to stay updated with the latest content. Let's go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Mental Health Talks with the Sul. Sul, thank you for joining me today. Sul is also one of my best friends. I've known him for about, what is it now, going 5 years now? 5 years strong? 4 5
Almost
years?
a whole high school career.
Whole high school career. Sul, for the viewers at home, please tell them your background, who you are, what do you do.
Okay, guys, Sulaiman, as he said before, I actually recently just gone all in on self-development, and if you guys would love or like, you can actually follow me on Instagram, Sulmoji, at Sulmoji. I'm not just advertising it, I do put out some content that can help people. Mental
Guys,
health,
follow.
mindset. We are on a fast decline with mental health and suicide rates, so I just thought, you know what, I'll take it upon myself, give the advice, the lessons that I've learned, and try to help others as well. So yeah.
Oh, thank you, Sul. What I want to start off, what I like to start my viewers off, just to get you guys going, just going and flowing, is I like to start with an icebreaker. 2 questions, simple questions. One, name one goal that you have for the week.
For the week, I would love to put out 2 extra videos, like posting. I usually post 1 video every day. I'd like to post, and it's just the extra 1 or 2, just to get into that habit of just putting more content out there, getting better at the craft, helping more people.
And that was my next question. So for the viewers that don't follow you yet,
Yet.
what content could they expect from the Sul?
From school, so for the past 2 years, I have gone in on just mindset, mental health, trying to get you to love yourself as well, so self-love. But I will be diving into more topics like I've spoken to you about, like
Yes.
grooming, fashion, lifestyle. So you can expect a lot.
That's good.
Cool.
I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. And the next question is, name one person, new or old, in your life. Could be somebody from you met a week ago. It can be someone you grew up with. Anyone in your life that you are both grateful and thankful for, and why?
I would have to go with my father. I lost him at like age 17, but I've learned so much from him, and it's crazy that with him being gone, I've actually looked back and I feel like he's taught me so much more. Because when you grow up, you don't really think about, okay, there's life lessons here, there's things that can actually make me better as a person. So what I loved about him was the fact that he would learn something, he would continuously learn things and teach it to other people. Like he would see a stranger in the road and tell them about maybe something he learned in the Bible, and they would be like completely shocked and not know it. So that's also part of the reason why I started creating content as well. And I actually feel closer to my father.
So his legacy lives on in you.
Oh, 100%.
Shout out to Father in
Shout out
heaven.
to Dad.
Shout out to Dad. No, thank you. And yeah, what today's focus, what I want us to focus on today is, and it's a topic that I actually like, because you and I have spoken a lot about this in the past. But for today, for the viewers at home, I'd like us to dive into internal and external stress. So for the viewers at home, please, what is your view, or what is your definition of internal and external stress?
So what I'd like to start with is just get to the foundation of what is stress on the whole. It's like
Start there.
how we react to basically situations that put us under pressure or when we feel threatened. And in most cases, these are situations where we feel we don't have control, we can't manage it. And for me personally, I feel like anxiety and stress is just fancy words for each other. So it's
So
like,
it's all the same to you, eh?
to me, yeah. I believe that at our core, like, we're always gonna have problems with you. View it as negative, anxiety, stress, all these things. We just need to kind of become more self-aware about it and then try and walk through it, which we will dive into today.
Okay, so let's start with internal stress.
Internal stress, like as the word itself, things happening inside. So I like to think of it as, let me give some examples here.
Yes.
Think you that you are wanting to be in control, but you aren't. Trying to be perfect can cause stress. Being fearful of other people's judgments or what other people might think of you. And internal one that's kind of external and internal as well is like the things you consume, like food, hydration, that will cause you to be stressed or not.
Yes. So no, diving on the first example of internal stress, where you spoke about things that are out of our control. Let's dive into a few, just to to give some clarity to the viewers. Let's dive into an example of internal stress that you can't control. Let's go into, let's say, COVID/lockdown.
Yeah.
That was out of our control. There's nothing we can do. We couldn't leave our homes. Sorry. We couldn't. Yeah, we were very much restricted to a lot of things.
Yeah.
But again, it was out of our control. So talk to us about that. I mean, that I think everyone can relate to. Or
Yeah.
It's the ultimate one. Lockdown. Level. What was that first one? Was it level 5?
All of the levels.
All the levels. But like, my point was, that was out of our control. It brought, and especially myself, and I know everybody I can think of, the stress and anxiety levels was through the roof.
Yeah.
It was internal. There was nothing we could do. We just had to stay at home, keep ourselves occupied, and just get through the day, or days, weeks, months.
And I mean, we were basically in confinement in our own homes, which is, I mean, it's not the best if you didn't even go down the road for a walk. It was crazy.
Yes.
Like for me, I felt like I was boxed in the very beginning of that. And you also feel like you see the same faces every day, see the same four walls every day. It does become overwhelming. But I'm not sure if we want to dive into that yet, but like some of the things I did to kind of get out of that space and to get more
Okay. Let's speak about it. Yeah.
So I think we can say this. Hopefully we don't get cancelled. Jody and I, we did see each other a couple of times. We'd actually do like home workouts and catch up with each other during this time.
Oh no, but that was
before the confinement.
No, yeah, no.
Or after the confinement.
No, that was after. After.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you're safe, guys. Yeah, no.
We won't get cancelled. It's a joke.
It was a joke.
So in that time we really couldn't go anywhere. I would actually have Zoom calls with you.
Yes.
So a lot of
me
getting out of my head is actually thanks to this guy, and I hope I've played some impact in his life as well. But I think keeping physically active has helped me get through that without going to any drastic measures like a lot of people have gone through during that time. Because when you get your body moving, you release a lot of stress. Like, I'm not sure you guys are fully aware of the stress hormone cortisol.
Yes.
It's pent up. You literally wake up with that, which is why going to gym straight after you wake up or close to that time, it's actually really good for you, because then you get out the stress, the cortisol, and then you release more endorphins, which is the full feel-good hormone, which is quite cool.
Okay. And then, so like you said, we sort of created an opportunity for ourselves where we didn't allow that stress to get the better of us. So, like you said, we did before we physically met up, we did Zoom calls. So we and I always when we talk about mental health, you'll get those ads, or you get people always saying talk to someone. And for me, people need to understand the importance of actually talking to someone. It doesn't have to be your relative, like your mom or dad, and that, because everybody's household is different. Yeah. Some people don't have, or not privileged to have, that household where it's a close-knit family.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and I've also had this conversation, I think, with you as well, where I've had the best advice from strangers. So people, I think we need to get more sort of out of our comfort zone and not continue to feel judged, where it's like it's not cool, or you feel shamed where I can't go talk to a stranger about my problems, or I can't, just seek out advice. Because I think it's really important that you just talk to someone. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Talk to someone.
And it's like often your biggest supporters are strangers. Often people.
And I still believe that.
I believe that as well.
Because end of the days, from a stranger, you don't know them, so you don't know yet. Yeah. I think it's more from your side where you feel like, okay, I don't know if he's gonna judge or not because he's a stranger. You don't know him.
Yeah.
Whereas when you know someone, whether it's a friend or relative or whatever, you know that person, so you know already whether the person's gonna judge or not.
Yeah. You've
So
already
I
built
think
up that perception
yes.
of what you think they think about you.
There we go. Whereas the stranger, you've got nothing to lose. You don't know what to expect. So, and I think also where I've learned with meeting people that have taken advice from strangers, it's funny. Like for example, I would have, or somebody close to this person would have told them advice, but then the minute a stranger told them that advice, then they started taking that advice. Then it's like, you know what? I don't judge you for that because I feel that I've also been in that position where my friends have given me the right advice, given me the things to say and do. I didn't do it, but then the same thing they told me, a stranger told me it, and then I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
So it does. So the impact of strangers, like I know it sounds weird, but I think as time goes on and you start experiencing it for yourself, you'll start to understand and appreciate that just talking to someone, coming back to what I was saying, talking to someone is very, very important for your mental health.
Yeah.
100%.
An analogy that I just thought of right now.
Yes.
It's like when you talk to a stranger, it's like you start a blank canvas. You can literally go wherever you want.
100%.
Versus someone you know, it's like this painting's so good, like I don't wanna.
Shading is a bit
Let me sit
dark
up
there,
here,
but
yeah.
yeah.
It just came to mind now.
That's a good analogy. No, it's really good. It is. Like with a stranger, you're starting the painting from scratch.
Yeah.
You've got your tools. Let's start drawing. No, I like that. So okay, so internal. So we spoke. Yeah. So we've spoken about that. Where just keep yourself busy. A topic that or not a topic. Sorry. An example, and I spoke to. Previously before I've spoken to Michael, I've spoken to Roscoe, and I know you do it as well, so that's why I'm definitely bringing it up, is journaling your thoughts, journaling your goals, your routines, just journaling in general. Create your own story, because that you'll actually realize that also it's a relaxing mechanism. It really does cause like you to de-stress. Like if you're in control of your story, you just make everything better, everything to follow better. If you're telling your own story, if you're following other stories, there is that bit of something can go wrong because you're following someone else's story. Whereas if you are writing your story, you've got nothing to lose. You are creating something from scratch.
Yeah.
You know, so there's no stress. You know, you in control. So I feel like journaling your thoughts, journaling, just even if you're somebody that wants to create non-fictional, you know what I'm saying, like just create something, just put pen to paper. I promise you, just everything from there, whether you feel it's right or wrong, you just won't go wrong in terms of it'll create that calmness within you. So I feel like that is a tool that is so neglected. I started doing that with my reading. So I'm somebody who reads often, but what I started doing is I started journaling my chapters. So if we're talking about a book and I've read a book and I'm like, yeah, I read it, but I can't tell you about it. Did I actually read it?
Yeah.
Whereas if I go back and check my notes, chapter 1, this is what I learned. This is what I can remember. This is, just journaling everything, each chapter. That just shows you that I've actually taken note of this book, So I think journaling in general, like I said, whether it's your gym routine, your work routine, just journaling in general, I think it's so important as a tool for anything in life. And I mean, today's topic is stress, and I feel like that is such a good, like a tool to use to de-stress.
And I have to agree with you because I find that often we become stressed and overwhelmed because, like I said, we don't have control. As soon as you get out that journal, start writing down, you not only add structure to your life, but now you're also taking back control. Like, look, things are going to happen to you that you won't be able to account for. In fact, I think 99% of the things that happen to you, you won't be able to control.
being on time. Something that I struggle with.
Well, it's something that it's another topic that we won't dive into today, but it's also about the way you phrase things. But we'll dive into that another time.
Okay.
It was based on the go back to the journal, right?
Journaling.
What I like about
internal stress.
yeah,
But you can continue.
what I like about journaling as well is that it creates this platform where you become your own psychologist. Actually, you speak to yourself, and as strange as that sounds, like this guy talking to himself, a pen and paper. Yes, it does sound weird. It does feel uncomfortable.
It's weird when you
in
don't
the
understand.
beginning. Yes.
It's always weird when you don't understand something.
But
like that.
how is everything in the beginning though? It's weird. It's uncomfortable.
It's the fear of unknown.
Yeah.
When you
fear
see
of
something, I'll take. I mean, I always use this example. I know I've spoken a lot about fitness, but taking the gym, when somebody's doing something, it might be funny to you if you've got lack of knowledge of what they're doing.
Yeah.
But that's the fear of unknown, because that person could be doing something that actually benefits you, but you not knowing, that causes that, like you mentioned. So I think the fear of the unknown is what scares people, and uncertainty. It causes that stress as well, you know. Sorry, you were saying.
This is such a lovely topic to cover, because you can literally go in every direction, which is quite cool. But we'll go back to journaling just for a little bit as well. What I find in the morning, I will always write down 5 wins of the day before. And whether it's just talking to my mother for a bit longer than I would previous days, whether it's spending time with my cats, with my son, with just having a roof over my head,
yourself,
being able to sleep,
spending time for yourself as well.
Myself, yeah.
Sometimes people actually don't realize you actually have to journal that as well. I know it sounds weird, and guys, I know it really sounds weird, but you actually have to journal. And I'll take, for example, if it's reading a book between 8 and 9, that is you journaling yourself, your self-love, your self-discipline, you know? So I think people also need to realize you need to journal about your routines, all that stuff, but yourself, taking time for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is actually crazy as well is that anxiety or stress, so if you want to put it, it's actually what we call arousal congruent, which is basically heightened senses. Like you can say anxiety is exactly the same as excitement, because your brain doesn't know how to actually differentiate the two. So what can you do in a situation where you feel anxious or stressed? Like before doing a speech, you can tell yourself, you know what, instead of me, I'm nervous, I'm sweating, I'm excited. Repeat that to yourself. Like coming into this podcast today, I didn't know what to expect. But then I told myself, you know what? What are some of the things that could happen? I could fumble over my words. I could start sweating on camera, which I don't want the viewers to see that.
And I think those are, but I think those are common fears, you know, especially coming onto a podcast. You're coming on, you don't know what to expect. You're scared, like you said, you're scared. You fumble your words. You're scared you say the wrong thing. But the thing is, like I spoke to the guys, is like practice. It takes practice. You can't expect perfection. You have to practice to perfect the art.
And that's another one of the internal stresses that I think I mentioned earlier. Trying to be perfect. Perfect is not the standard. It never will be. We put so much pressure on ourselves. I believe that we need to embrace being perfectly imperfect.
Yes.
And messing up will actually, what's that quote? 99% of success is actually failure.
Yes.
Because you only need to succeed the 1%, the one time. So if we can become more comfortable with making mistakes, with letting people judge us if they want to, it's all about what you think about yourself. And I also believe that if you just take a step back and look at the things that you are stressed about, journal. If you are a grandmaster just articulating here, please share that with me in the comment section. But we're
all students. No matter how much we know, no matter how much we've experienced, even if we're coaches in life on anything, whether it's fitness, whether it's mental health, no matter what we're coached in, we all forever remain a student. And it's important for people to also understand that, because people, I feel like once they've achieved something, once they've become sort of a coach in life, it's almost like a lot of the time, I'm not saying everybody, because people still do acknowledge, but a lot of people think that they are no longer a student.
They just cut themselves off from
I've reached this, I know this, all that, but in essence, we'll always be a student of the game, any game, like I said, fitness, mental health, whatever it is that you specialize in.
100% agree with you.
So journaling, okay, what else? Talk to us, internal stress.
So, unlike in America where everybody has a cold plunge, in South Africa, you can take a cold shower. I do this Monday to Friday, routine, whether it's winter,
Yeah.
I don't feel like doing it, it's cold as hell, it's cold as balls, I'll say that. I hope I don't get sensitive. You won't sensitive, thank you.
Not Glenny balls.
What I found is that is something that's difficult. Not everyone is willing to just put the cold water on and like, we like convenience, we like the warm water, we like thrusting the shampoo and all
Yeah,
that.
I don't think I know anyone that will put on cold immediately and not react to it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I've been doing it for close to 2 years now.
And you still get a reaction.
Still get
Yes.
the anxiety to like. I'll actually put it off. I'll be like, let's send Jodie a voice note.
Let's distract the mind. Let's
yeah.
let's not focus on the coldness.
Yeah.
But I think what you just mentioned now, for me, is a life lesson. If you think about it,
Yeah.
like the whole cold water technique, it's a life lesson. Like no matter what, like you still have to be humble to the game. Like the cold water, you've been doing it for 2 years, but you still react the
Yeah.
minute you put it on. What does it also tell you about life? Like it tells you like no matter what, you just have to still be humble. You still have to go back to the drawing board. No matter you've practiced something for 2 years, but you still
Yeah.
in the beginning you still struggle. You know, so you need to kind of back to the what do I need to do? Okay, let's take. I always use training as a as an example, but
I'll probably also do that.
yes, you've got your routine for the day.
Yeah.
Do you just jump into your routine? Oh, I'm going to do push-ups, squats, whatever. Or do you warm up? Open up the
Yeah.
body. Get the body loose. Get the body warm. In order for you to take on those exercises. So what is that? It's going back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
You know?
And that also comes down to another thing, which is planning. I
Planning.
mean, in gym we plan by stretching, doing mobility exercises, but mentally we can prepare by journaling, by speaking to somebody, having somebody actually hold you accountable. Like listening to this podcast where this guy actually held himself responsible by telling his followers on Twitter that if he doesn't do something, he has to actually pay somebody $100 every time he fails to carry out an action.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, that is insane because you are losing out a lot of money, especially if you have like 20 to 30
but
tasks every day.
But he's created this
Yeah.
sort of platform, this sort of he's created something where he's held himself responsible, to do something, to follow through with something. So don't you feel like that makes you stronger as a person? I've got something, I can't mess this up. So mentally and physically you have to get stronger, in order to achieve, or to prevent that from happening. Because like you said, you can go broke.
Like the obvious thing is he
Yes.
could go broke,
Yes.
but also he's not only letting down his followers if he's wanting to. I think the guy was also a life coach or something.
Okay.
So he's preaching what he wants other people to do in their lives, but if he's not following through, people don't listen to your words. People follow your actions.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I
that's very true.
believe the third thing, aside from him losing money and letting his followers down, he's letting himself down. And what I like about that strategy is, stress as itself is you are already under pressure. What he's actually done is add more pressure to that pile, and he's used that to overcome. So I'm not sure if this is going to be our next topic as well, but you get good and bad stress as well.
Comment below if you want to.
Good and bad
if
stress.
you want us to talk about good and bad stress, and we can dive into that. I think that sounds good. Yeah, because something I also wanted to chat to you about, but also for future, was like accepting failure.
Yeah.
That's also that's also a stress topic. So but like I said, guys, get those likes up so we can give you more and more content on this. These mental health talks for me, as you and I.
Yeah.
I mean, off camera, we talk about this almost daily.
Yeah, we do.
And it also
Voice notes.
voice notes.
Communication. I love language.
But yeah, sorry, I'm diving. But coming back to the cold shower technique, I mean, like he's actually genuinely recommending that as a technique, because I was thinking about, now I was using the gym analogy with the whole stretching that. It's the same with you with the cold shower. You don't just jump in and put it on.
Mentally. Yep.
You do, like you mentioned, like you'll go voice note, you'll maybe do jumping jacks, whatever. That's all preparation for the end goal, for what it is that you've set your mind, and to do. Like, so I think that is that's a good example. So cold showers, but in doing that also prepare.
Yeah, and I think one thing to actually get yourself to take the action, like, I mean, a lot of people say, I'll do this when I'm ready.
Yes.
There's never the right time. There's never the perfect moment.
You remind me of that all the time.
Yeah.
Because of me always trying to be a perfectionist, trying to, there's times where I also procrastinate because of, like I said, the fear of the unknown, or just the fear of starting.
Or not getting it exactly the way that you want it.
There we go. And I must say, I praise you for that, as being one of those guys in my life that always remind me just to start. You're never going to be perfect, things are never going to go the way you want to in that time, but start so that you can work towards the way you want it.
And one of my favorite quotes from my favorite podcast, Mindset Mentor, I always go back to that. I love that podcast so much. It's changed my life and me fundamentally as a person as well, to become better. I can't swear on camera, but he says, effort up and figure it out. So basically, instead of going ready, aim, fire, it's ready, fire, aim.
Okay.
So you just go for it, you mess up, you make mistakes, and then along the way you make adjustments and you become better, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You just take more shots.
That is so true. If you just take one shot in life and hoping that one will be it, I mean, one out of somebody that takes 100 shots, who is more likely to hit one shot? The 1 in 1 or the 1 in 100? You know what I'm saying?
Like, if I bring that back to our gym as well, how many times have I had to squat, deadlift, the bench, do all those exercises, look really weird, mess up, almost get injured, all those things, to get to the place where we are right now, which is, I think, phenomenal. When I look back.
Look back, no, I like that. So just finishing off the internal stress, so techniques what we recommend is like the journaling, the cold showers, and the...
I mean, you can even bring it. I think the host can speak about this one, which we have actually mentioned a couple of times during this.
Yes.
Gym, working out.
Yeah, I mean, it's the obvious one. And guys, when we say gym, we don't only mean go to a facility. There is such a thing as working out at home. If you know what, like, you just use any tools that you have at home. Like, I think, and I'd like to dive back to lockdown, because in lockdown, this was before I even had home equipment. I remember when we did like a Zoom video. I'm using this example, guys, so that you can use. This is like just me sharing an experience, but at the same time, I do encourage it. Like, we actually took tools. We took like a broomstick. We took the broom off, like it was an old one. Jeepers, what else did we had?
We had like 5
liter water bottles. I'm trying to think now, but the point is, you can literally use your home as a gym facility. You can. It is possible. And we actually enjoyed, number one, most importantly, we enjoyed ourselves in the process. Because you always came up with new ideas, new things. Like, I always feel like you need to spice things up, especially if you're training as well. Whether you're training like for a goal, to look a certain way, or just everyone's got a goal, whether it's just to keep you sane.
Mentally.
Even if you but I feel like you still need to spice things up. In training, and in that time, that's what made me enjoy things most, is we always spice it up. Oh, let's use this thing, let's use that, let's train outside with a Zoom call and jump on that, just small things. I feel like, guys, you are sort of your own creative person, but you have to you have to allow yourself to think. You have to allow yourself, and like I said, I'm always going to dive back to journaling, because you're not going to just tell yourself, okay, wait, there's that, and then just continue with your life, and then expect to remember. Like, don't dwell and don't expect yourself to remember that amazing thought that you had 2 or 3 days ago, which could have been done in the future, but you totally forgot about it because your mind was, focused on whatever it is you had to do throughout your days, going forth. So I feel like, guys, just journal as well. Maybe even create, even if it's silly, like I said, like if you're training from home, just create a funny, not funny, but a fun sort of routine that will just get you going. Because if you look back at it, not only if we minus results, because we're talking about mental health, it will actually allow you to be calm, to have all those sort of positive emotions. You'll be happy, you'll be excited, you'll be just positive as a whole, So I think for me, yes, like you said, it's fitness. So it's fitness, it's journaling. I always jump back to that. Cold shower.
I actually I was hoping you'd get back to that. If you have any medical conditions, please don't use a cold shower and say what Sulaiman said that in Jody's podcast.
Oh yeah, wow, that's actually smart.
I'm disclaiming you. Teaching myself. I'm just saying.
That is actually true. No, I think there's so many good techniques. I think we've also spoken about a few things as well, and I think for me, internal. I mean, like you said, anything internally that you put in is so important. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna jump into a bit of external, but like internally, like you said, what you eat as well. And I think that is also important. What you eat. I know back then. What was nice, I mean, like I'm not trying to diss any restaurants now, but at the time with lockdown, all the restaurants are closed. Yeah. So you're kind of forced to be a lot more healthy. Yeah. And in doing that, you actually feel better about yourself. You're eating a lot more fruit, you're eating a lot more just home cooked meals.
Less
grease. Sugar. And that also contributes, to be honest, to de-stress as well. I always feel, I mean, that feeling. If we jump back a few years ago when we used to be obsessed with fast food like McDonald's and that, the energy levels drop, and also just that feeling I feel,
you feel less driven to actually take action on your goals.
And it's stressful. Have you ever tried eating fast food before gym?
Don't recommend it. That also, for me, brought much. I've tried it. Look, I'm not perfect. I mean, I've been training for years and I've done stupid things. But in order to find the right things in life, you have to try everything, and because you're not going to know what's wrong unless you try different things. And I've done that. The perfect example is I've done that. I've had junk food before training. It made me feel terrible. It made me feel stressed in terms of, I'm doing this and I'm like, why does my body feel so weird? Why is my heart racing? Like, it just it has increased your cortisol level.
Yeah, so basically my point was, your intake, what you eat, what you put inside your body, also contributes to your stress levels, So internal.
When we come back to stress on the whole,
yes,
what I've also found is that we are usually stressing about something in the projected future. It's not even right
that's now. Like 90% of the time.
Yeah. So
maybe 99.
maybe 99. maybe 99.99 in any case.
It is. It's always something in the future. Yeah.
Present.
That's it.
And I think one question that's helped me tremendously as well is, when you are in that state of stress or anxiety, then just take a step back as well and ask yourself, like, right now, am I safe? Am I okay? Am I making this out to be worse than it actually is?
Yes.
And scientific studies have also shown that 85% of the things that people worry about never happen. And of
that's actually true.
15% that might happen, 13% is not as bad as you perceive it to be.
That's
so it's like 2%, honestly.
That's actually very true, because if you, and I'm sure you've had examples of it where, like, for example, let's say there's something you wanted to do at 10:30 and you were so anxious that you were not going to be able to do it at 10:30. You get so upset with yourself. You get stressed, number one, obviously, because you're not trying to get to whatever it is at 10:30, but it didn't happen, and then you're just like, you know what, it didn't happen, and it comes back to your stats. A lot of the time it doesn't happen. you know. So
You also have to ask yourself, like, am I going to ruin this present moment by thinking about something I can't control? In most cases, people are stressing about things they can't control.
and then they tend to forget to live in the present.
Yeah.
And that's what just increases our stress levels. Is that we're thinking about the future, you know.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. External stress.
External.
Let's talk about that.
There are quite a few here. Like, I believe relationships can become quite stressful, especially with, let's say, with your partner. If you are in a relationship or married or whatever, if you guys aren't having the best communication, something might be off on their side, something might be off on your side. I believe to fix that, it's more about, like, can you guys also just come together, communicate effectively,
Open up. I mean, it's your partner.
Yeah.
You should feel free. You should feel comfortable to open up. If not, then what are you in? You know?
Exactly.
So yes,
It's
that's
about
actually
the future again. Like, when you guys gonna get married? That's a question that always comes up, I believe.
true. You know what? For me,
Yeah.
and I'm sure I know people like that that get those questions. It's funny, and it comes back to external. It's always external influence, other people that's worried about your lives.
Yeah.
So like you said, people asking you when you're guys getting married, when you're having a baby, but in essence, it's not anyone's business. It's up to you as an individual. You can answer them. You can say, I don't know, maybe in 2 years, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not their business. And I feel like a lot of people also allow those factors, those external factors, to influence their relationship. And that's why a lot of people also split. Because then they forget to live for each other, to live for other people. It's like, oh, shoot, in 2 years, I need to have this baby, or we need to get married. And then boom, in that time, people split. So I know of amazing couples. I mean, I know I'm sounding biased, but my cousin Chucky, him and Kaylin, total opposites. I think they've been together for 5-6 years, total opposites. But they work.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to their chemistry, their connection, their communication. And it just works. And honestly, I could be wrong, but I do communicate with my cousin Jared, Chucky. But like, what I've learned with them is they don't care about external factors.
Yeah.
They're living, to be honest, it's none of my business whether they take, they take the leap, that they get married or not, or have kids. Doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to any of the external factors.
Yeah.
What matters is that the two of them love each other, and they continue each day working towards whatever goals they have for each other.
And from what I'm also gauging from this is they take care of themselves first thing, and
that's what I've
they
also done.
prioritize the relationship between the two of them.
Yes.
Which is
And I
also
think,
amazing.
like, I've never even asked him that question.
Yeah.
Whether I mean, I know we're diving onto that topic now of because especially when in your 20s, that's always the common thing with couples is marriage, kids, blah blah blah. And I think if I have, I mean, I could be wrong, but it could have been earlier, maybe. But I think where they are,
kids. No.
no. But what I've learned is where they are in their relationship. I think the most important thing that I've learned from an outsider, from an external factor, is that the two of them love each other.
Yeah,
Every day, unconditionally, and every day going forward. Whatever they decide in terms of, like I said, it's their life, it's their goals.
Yeah.
And I think people need to learn. I mean, I know of a lot of couples who have been together for 10 years, whatever. They're just together as boyfriend and girlfriend, and that's fine. They shouldn't be judged on anything else.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like this whole stigma of having to be a certain way, like have kids after marriage and all that stuff, that's all old school.
Yeah.
Look, I love old school to a point, but in order to move on in life, you can't just live in the past. You can't just follow the old school. You can take some of their rules and that because they have amazing things that they've learned, but you can't just live the old school way going forward, because then you are not going to move with the times.
Yeah, and
you know?
it's also not showing much growth as well.
It's not showing growth, it doesn't work.
Basically, you accepting everything that you're being told.
Yes.
That also adds to
and a lot of people
don't have options when you actually have.
You actually do.
So many more options than you.
You see, they don't have options because, like I said, it's that old school. They box themselves. It's that old school mentality. They're only taught to think a certain way.
Yeah.
Whereas the new generation, what scares the old is our ability to think
For ourselves.
for ourselves
There we go.
and our creativity. We're thinking about a lot more things. It's because we're not boxed up. We are not like our parents and our parents' parents and that, because they were taught a certain way.
Yeah.
No, like school, work, family.
Mm-hmm.
There's a million other things to do in life besides that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what scares. And a lot of people are moving with the times from the old school. I'll take maybe the ages of our parents, for example. But everyone's still caught in, well, majority of people are still caught in that way. But it's up to us as the new generation just to continue moving with the times.
Yeah.
We need to block out the noise. We need to block out the external factors, because it's up to us to move forward. Their life is past. They had their time in terms of where we are at in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
They were in their 20s, in their 30s. They've had that, but they must also, well, what we must not forget is that we weren't living in our 20s and 30s in 1990s, 1980s, 1970s. Those are different times.
Yeah.
Our parents, their parents, everyone needs to understand that they were living in a certain time where things were done a certain way. We are sort of figuring out life for ourselves because we are living in the present. We are living in a time, in a new generation that we are busy creating.
Yeah.
We're creating our own. I know it sounds a bit, what is the word? But
Wooey.
no, yeah. But like the thing is, I think that's where I praise our generation is our ability to think, to do more. You know, so I think we haven't boxed ourselves, and I think that's important. And especially like I said, just diving back into what I don't want to go off topic, but like we're going back into couples as well, as you can't. You have to block out the noise. You have to block out the external factors.
Yeah.
Yes, you can listen to them, but you don't have to do. The plan of action is yours. It's between you as partners, because like I said, that affects relationships if you're just going to listen to external factors. Like whether it's positive or good, it's fine, it's whatever, but just listen to them. But end of the day, you need to make the decision. What do you guys want to do?
That's the line with your models and values.
There we go.
Take action from them.
Yes. But yes, external. So external
is that one. This one. I think everyone's in the field. This one. Financial.
I think that's
probably the number one stress though for most people.
Of course.
I'm too much external.
Of course. Doesn't your pockets just, when you have to fill up your tank, you look at that.
Yeah.
That meter. Wow, it came to. I'm not gonna say it because it gives away how much the tank is, but like just for example, like just seeing that meter just keep going up and you're filling up and you're like, wow, this tank must last me for 7 days or whatever. However, I don't know how everyone travels differently. Some people work from home. Some people are constantly on the road the entire day. So some people's tanks last them for a few weeks, some for like 2 or 3 days, depending on you. Yeah. But either way, everybody has that sort of stress when they're busy filling up their car.
I do feel like the conflict actually comes down to what's everyone's relationship with money. Because we view money
that's
as
actually very true.
A negative thing, like, I need to work for money. Like, yes, it does play a vital role in how you live your life, the quality of your life, but it's not the most important thing. And I think we kind of have to become more comfortable with the conversation of money, which is something I'm also learning, because I was one of the people that like money. They cover my ears. I don't know.
But I like that. I like what you said. Your relationship with your finance.
Yeah.
That's actually true. We have to sort of establish what is our relationship with finance. We have to. I think most of us don't know. Like you said, the common thing is, I have to go work to get money.
Yeah.
That is it. So what
kind of? I have to go pay the bills.
So so to you, what kind of relationship is that with finance for us?
I feel like if you are in a tight spot financially, what you can do is, reach out to someone you know in your life, a friend, family member, who's maybe an accountant or someone that works in that field of money.
So network.
Yeah, network. Yeah. Definitely network. Your network is your net worth, as they say.
Network is your net worth. Yeah, I like that.
And also, if your job isn't paying high enough or enough, then you aren't limited to that job. You can apply to a million different places.
You're only limiting yourself.
Exactly. The issue people have with actually going out and finding a job is they apply to 2, 3, 4 different places at most.
Yes.
They don't get a response or they don't get the job at any of those places, and then they're like, okay, no, I tried. Have you though? How many jobs are there in the world?
Yeah.
Have you tried everything?
So basically, you're saying like
Yeah.
you've only, as that individual that applied to 2-3 jobs, they've only given themselves 2 to 3 opportunities.
Yeah.
If you apply to 100, you've given yourself 100 opportunities.
Exactly. And of those 100, I'm sure 20 to 30 of those employees would want you.
Yeah.
Would get
Moral of the
actively
story:
interested.
keep applying.
Yeah.
Keep trying.
And also, one thing I think that is very important when it comes to stress is, like we said, many of the things people stress about, it's out of their control or it's in the future. I think radical acceptance is also quite important. Like being able to just take a step back and be like, you know what, regardless of what happens, I'm going to be fine. My loved ones are going to be fine. And I'll learn from that experience. Because we have to also understand that in order to experience the highest highs, we also have to go through some very low moments in our life.
Yeah.
And I feel like acceptance does help just kind of lower the pain, or it lowers having to deal with it in the drastic ways that people do, where they turn to drugs and alcohol and yeah, those type of things. So just accepting that things aren't going to be the way that you want them to be solves a lot of the problem as well.
Okay. So external, yeah. So okay. So yeah. So that's external. So external. Talk about our relationships, our finance. Is there any other external?
There is one that I'll just add, but it's not really something that I've personally experienced. Like, if you change, actually, I have experienced something, to be honest, sincere. Moving or leaving a job, that is also quite stressful. Because whether you have a plan A or plan or no plan,
So changing your environment.
yeah, environment.
Yeah,
That's a
environment.
big
Of
one.
course, of course. It's like
You
it
can
comes back to,
relocate as well,
there
and
we
it's
go.
also stressful.
but that's what I'm saying. It's again comes to the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
You don't know what environment you're stepping into, so
Yeah.
that causes that stress. No. Okay. Is there any messages that you'd like to leave to the viewers at home?
Yeah, there is a quote by Bob Proctor. I don't know if you guys follow the let me get to the name of this now. Sure, but The Secret. The Secret, I'm not sure if you're aware of that, like manifestation and all that.
Yes.
So Bob Proctor, I was listening to a podcast with Jay Shetty. We interviewed Bob Proctor, and
Jay Shetty, I love Jay Shetty.
he might know
amazing.
your cousin Chucky actually. But yeah.
I've told Chucky that too.
But in any case, he used this quote that I really loved, and he said that leave everybody with the impression of increase. With increase, meaning when you go into a conversation or you engage with a stranger, your friend, your family member, leave them with more value than before your interaction. So for me, that's very powerful.
That is.
And
Yes.
if you can make somebody's day just by telling them, you know what, I like your smile.
People don't realize that it's a small gestures that actually go a long way.
Like being in your presence. It's small things that people find weird. It's not weird. Everything that we perceive as weird or uncomfortable, it's all here, and we can create the environment or the world that we perceive.
Yes, thank you. So thanks for joining us, guys. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Comment below. Like I said, if you want myself and Sul just to dive into habits of stress and
Bad cities.
good and bad stress, accepting failures, these are definitely things that we would like to and also let us know if there's other topics that you guys suggest as well. So, but then till next time,
Guys, make it your mission to make somebody else's day better. Stay amazing. We love you.